Hello, my name is Niall Sebastian Power Sieger. Welcome. Um, just for the people which do not know me, in the past I did the Facebook account niallpowersieger.9. Niall is written Niall. Niallpowersieger.9 was the Facebook account, and it brought proof by data that a universal communication with beings which have lived as human beings before but have no human body today uh, do exist. So the Facebook account is proving this by data. And therefore, when I started the Facebook account a long while ago, I showed myself to the government in Germany and to the Secret Service so that they could analyze my account and could overlook my daily life. Let me say it like that. Since then, I did this Facebook account. It's very complex. It's showing universal communication. I was trying to make transparent on a Facebook account learning processes to do universal communication afterwards. Several communication ways which do exist. And as a result of the learning processes, the Facebook timeline is quite a chaos. Please do not lose yourself there. We also created the CIA Embassy WordPress page. You can inform yourself there also. And that much more on point because it is not such a chaos. And you do not come into the situation to lose yourself in the learning processes I did by myself. But on the WordPress page, you will be informed about the learning processes, but without a chaos. So that's the CIA Embassy WordPress page. It gives you a clearer picture. And on the other side, we have a CIA Facebook page as well. That also gonna inform the public in the future about the universal communication, about learning processes, about medical stuff, and about projects which are planned to take to happen in the future. Today I want to talk about, that's the reason why I'm doing the video by the way. Today I want to talk about the mirror cabinet as I did in another video, but about catching mirror effects or catching mirror puzzle pieces. Let me say it like that. Why do have people to catch mirror things, mirror puzzle pieces? That would be a question people could have if they watch this video. The reason is the universal communication, because beings which do not have a human body anymore but have lived as humans before, or beings from another species, if they're trying to communicate with me, they can do it on several different ways. One way would be the direct way. Another way would be using the mirror cabinets and creating mirror reflection situations where they can reflect themselves to identify themselves towards me, or where they can send like this and identify information they sent to me. Therefore, they can use things like music, books, scripts, pictures, paintings, so material things, or they can use physical bodies of human beings, animals, or plants. Both is possible. So what do I have to do if a being is trying to communicate with me and I realize that, and if I want to communicate with him through the mirror system? I'm going to explain one or two situations to give you a better idea of it. So, for example, I'm communicating with a being which have lived as a human being before, and he was a politician in, let's say, a politician in some special country with special parameters which identify the country and the population, the culture and stuff like that. So this being, if he wants to show himself to me, can, by soft touch, guide my human body into a situation which is full of mirror reflection. For example, this being being tries to communicate to me, and I'm walking to my daily life, and there is a museum, and the museum has an exhibition about this country. So this being, which is trying to communicate with me, the human being alive, but do not have his own human body anymore, can influence my human body that are gonna think in the first second, I'm deciding to visit this exhibition. And then I'm entering the museum and see the exhibition, and as soon that happens, this being guided me by a small soft touch into a situation with a lot of mirror reflection from his country, maybe things he want to talk about, and maybe also with stuff about him as an ex-politician. That's one example. The other example is for I'm sitting at home, or I'm sitting in a house where I'm living, and I'm in contact in my daily normal life with human beings. And human beings start to give me things or to communicate things leading to the being which is trying to communicate with me. Because then this being is doing soft touch with the other human beings surrounding me, the physical bodies, and they always think they decide things by themselves, but they only decide it because they have been influenced by the soft touch system of this being which is trying to communicate with me. What then will happen is that these human beings alive gonna come to me, gonna give me, for example, a book as a gift. And then I open the book, and the book is about the being who's trying to contact me, the ex-politician, for example. And then you have the mirror reflection between planet Earth and the being trying to communicate with me. The very good thing about that system is third people are involved, even if they do not know it. So you have an input as a human being in your reality where I'm living in by several different corners, if you want it like that. Different points, which are independent from each other. That's very good for me as the communication partner of the being I'm trying to communicating with, or who's trying to communicate with me, because it's much more comfortable for myself. On other ways of communication, I have to always have to make sure that I'm not guiding myself into a position where I'm trying to understand reflections I cannot. And if other human beings are guided to you when they drop things on point, it's much more easy. This mirror system and the need to catch mirror system parameters, for example, this book would be a mirror system parameter. Or for example, if this ex being which have lived as this being which have lived as a human being, so the ex-human being dropped a couple of parameters. For example, he was wearing through his lifetime a special brand of shoes. So it's possible he would drop shoes. How can he do it? By guiding some other human beings alive into the situation to buy shoes and give them to me as a present, for example. Then I receive the shoes and I know, that's the type of shoes the being I'm communicating with liked. So he organized that to show himself, the material shoe as an ID. I do, and the Facebook account is showing that, Niall Power Sieger. I do catch mirror parameters and effects on a very, very high level. And to do that, for me as a human being, I also constantly, during the communication processes, have to reflect inside my own human brain. That's in addition to catching the mirror effects and parameters. Why? because a human being are trying to communicate, the being, sorry, which have lived as a human being before. It's just a being without a human body at that point in time, which is trying to communicate with me, gonna also try most of the time to put into input in like thoughts into my brain and lead me them into a situation where the reflection gonna happen, because the reflection gonna bring proof for the thought input as well. So it's very complex. And about thought inputs, you can check out my other videos. I did a video about that as well. It's the Softtouch video, which is explaining the input in human brains of thoughts of other beings, where human beings normally would be in the situation first to identify these thoughts as their own. So if they have not learned the universal communication, they're absolutely blind for these beings which have lived as human beings before and try to reach and communicate with. So sorry for the noise in the background, it's firework, because we are close to Happy New Year. So that's what you hear in the background. I'm not in a war zone, it's a firework for a celebration. Thankfully. So in general, you're invited to inform yourself on my Facebook page, on the CIA Embassy page, on the CIA Embassy WordPress page. But one thing should be clear, or I have to inform you about that. Please stay absolutely open-minded and do not judge too early. Otherwise, you will close your own doors to understand it and to be able one point in time maybe to communicate with your own forefathers. In general, the CIA Embassy website, the WordPress page, gonna be created for that purpose, to inform human beings and give them the possibility to learn for their future, to be able to communicate with their forefathers and other species as well, which do not have a physical body anymore as humans would describe it. Please do not lose yourself on my own Facebook page, Niall Power Sieger 9. You will get a clear picture to inform yourself on the WordPress page, CIA Embassy, and on the Facebook page, CIA Embassy. The links will be in the end of this video, as I already said. I'm gonna check now my book with little notes, because I want to make sure that I said everything which is necessary to understand the catching of mirror parameters. So what can be used as mirror parameters? I said it already. All physical bodies and all things which can be produced by human beings, because a human being alive can be influenced by Softtouch as well to produce, for example, a book, which then later going to be dropped for universal communication purpose at the human being the other being is trying to reach and to communicate with. Let me check one more thing. So yeah, so that's it. Actually, basically, so you understand, catching of parameters in the mirror system or catching mirror effects is, to keep it very simple, to walk very open-minded and with open eyes through your daily life and try to see the points and to catch the parameters if beings which have lived as human beings before try to reach you. Sounds easy, is very difficult. It sounds easy, but it's not, because the most human beings are blind for that kind of universal communication, even with their own forefathers, which is really sad. So, and again, parameters, these beings which have lived as human beings before can try to use to communicate is every physical body and all things surrounding you in your daily life from the potential. what they mostly use to communicate in the first step are things connected to the time when they have lived as human beings before, so that the beings they try to reach can identify them. Besides that catching of the mirror effects, it is possible for the human being, if you have catched communication input, you can call it, it is possible that these beings then start to try other ways as well to communicate with you after they think that you are able to handle the universal communication. Because it can cost a lot of energy, and also if mirror system parameters are used to identify thought input, as I explained before, and as you can find the other video explaining thought input. Therefore, the human being alive with the physical human body have to reflect on a very high level inside their own thoughts to them in the following step identify the thoughts which have been original input from the beings which have not a human body anymore and try to communicate. So it's very complex, and hopefully you understood the point I wanted to make, and you understood the answer to the question, what are mirror parameters? Everything which can be used for communication, all physical bodies and all things is the correct answer. And important is to understand that they can guide your human physical body into a situation where you're gonna step into a situation where you can see mirror reflections of the being which is trying to communicate, or they can bring other human physical bodies to you and drop things which do include the reflection of them as beings which have lived as human beings before. So these things are very important to understand and quite mind-blowing for the most people which never have had to do with the universal communication, or which have not such a good understanding of the super symbiosis we are living in called nature. Because a lot of people do live in the modern world, so they are disconnected to the reality of nature and blindfolded. You have to be open-minded to understand my videos and the universal communication, otherwise you will fail in doing so. So hopefully I can help you to understand the universal communication a bit better. Please be awake, please do not judge too early, and please be open-minded if you try to understand and analyze the data. And please do not lose yourself on my private Facebook account, Niall Power Sieger.9, because it's also showing learning processes with medical periods. So my human physical body, them, is in medical conditions which are chaos. A chaos if I show it to the public, which I was trying to do with the Facebook account as well. Well, please do not judge there too early. Thank you very much, and hopefully you have learned from this video regarding the mirror reflection, the mirror effects, and hopefully you understand that beings which have lived as human beings before try to reach their families, so the human beings alive, by using this mirror system and by trying to drop things which then reflect these beings which have lived as human beings before, so that the human being alive can see it, open himself or herself for the communication with their forefathers or the being which have lived as human being alive in a human physical body. And if that's happened, the potential for universal communication is there. If that's not even happening, it's very difficult for these beings to communicate with human beings alive. Even if they could use force and pressure, it would not help, because the people would not understand why the human body is influenced now and have some pain, for example, because pain would be also a way which could be used for universal communication, because these beings can influence by this what I call soft touch the human body, and can identify themselves through that communication system as well. So it's very complex, and by catching the mirror parameters, or to understand the mirror system and the mirror parameter system to communicate, if you understand that in total, you understood one way of many ways to communicate the universal way. So hopefully this video helped. My name is Niall Sebastian Power Sieger. You are very welcome to visit our CIA Embassy WordPress page. The link is in the end of the video, and you're very welcome to visit our Facebook page to inform yourself. Thank you for watching, and if you like the videos, give me a like and share the video, or better, give us a like and share the video, because the Facebook timeline I did, which brought proof for universal communication with beings which have lived as human beings before, of course, was not created by my own alone. Otherwise, it couldn't prove the universal communication with other beings which have lived as human beings before. Regarding the mirror system and mirror reflection, I just want to make one point a little bit more clear. Be aware, if your forefathers, for example, are trying to reach you, they can speak to you in bits and pieces over other human bodies surrounding you, without that these human beings even will understand that a soft touch by other beings which do not have a human body anymore were the reason for the communication this human being then did at this point in time, if he delivers or she delivers a message for you where the forefathers are trying to reach you, for an example. So be aware, each living being with a physical body can be used for universal communication, and parameters can be dropped through third physical bodies. Communication, spelling, talking can happen through third living physical bodies, even if this being, the physical body, and the being which is born in the physical body is not the being which is trying to communicate with the human being alone. So it's a bit complex, and I repeated it, that the people can follow and can open up themselves to understand it, because it's very difficult. It's absolutely mind-blowing, and the most people on planet Earth, they don't even understand that their own physical human body can be controlled by other beings. But that's the power they really have in the end, to overtake human bodies, to guide them through the life, even invisible, and to use them for communication purpose in the universal communication. So, thank you very much for watching. Give us a like and share the video if you liked it. Thanks. Bye. You're nice. Hello, this is me, Niall, again. I'm gonna do... God. Hello, this is me, Niall, again. This is a little add-on video to the others. To the other one regarding catching mirror effects, because I want to give you an example. This picture is from, well, it's from an artist, but my mom bought it during her lifetime, my mother, and then she died with a physical human body, as humans would describe it, but she still exists, and I can communicate with her as a being without a human body anymore. So this is the painting, and it's showing a cat. A cat in some cultures do stand for the communications with beings which do not have a human body anymore. There is the saying, the cat with the 7 lives. Here you can see another animal, a symbol, and my mom called me in German Schnecke, and that's this animal actually. And later on, in a period when I communicated a lot with her, what I'm doing daily actually, to be honest, but in a period where I talked a lot with her in the way of the mirror cabinet, and she used that communication way to communicate with me, which means she dropped things to communicate with me if I ask her a question or to identify herself, and she dropped things therefore which are good to identify her as a communication partner, and it's one way of many she identifies herself though. She dropped through another human body, so another human body gave me that cup as a present in a time period where I was thinking about the symbol of the sun a lot, and that's the cup she dropped by another human body. And how did this happen? Another human being with a human body just gave me that cup as a present in a moment I would call a point in time, where this present absolutely fitted into the communication with my mom. And here you can see the symbol of the animal again. And before that, my mom, as I said, during her lifetime, paid an artist to print this with the same symbol and a crown on it. Regarding me, people should know I'm a high king alive, and Niall means the king of the kings. That's what Niall in Ireland means. So that's me in the eyes of my mom during her lifetime. And later on, she communicated with the same symbol by dropping, for example, this cup through another human body who gave me this coffee cup them as a gift in the right moment in time. So I did know it is coming from my mom. Just that you got it and that you understand. So I'm gonna add this to the video where I explain to catch mirror parameters. And important is, if you get a gift, you still have to catch the information, and you still have to be open to a certain level to them feel and identify it as part of a communication. Otherwise, you will just see everything as a communication parameter, or you will see nothing as a universal parameter regarding universal communication, and probably both gonna lead to a situation where you lose yourself in the try to communicate the universal way, but you will not be able to communicate very good in the end. So it's absolutely important to be open-minded and to be open regarding feelings as well, because if I receive these parameters from the mirror cabinet, very often the beings which do not have a human body anymore but trying to communicate with me, they're gonna verify the parameter also later by a feelings transfer or by a feelings transfer in that moment. And I only can read that out very well if I'm open and if I do reflect in my world of feelings on a very high level. So I'm gonna add this video to the other explanation of the topic catching mirror parameters and effects, and hopefully this explanation of this situation I was in before, it gives you an idea of the universal communication and how it works a little bit easier than the very long explanation, which is also necessary. Thank you very much for watching. You're Niall.